Well, I think it's a great pity always that Leo never went overseas, because I think he could have won a world championship.
Leo Geoghegan's motorsporting career began back in 1954. He campaigned a black Repco Holden for 7 years and was outstanding in the days when the old Holdens were tops of the tin tops. Few remember that he helped pioneer the swing to minis. From the saloons, he developed into sports cars and open wheelers. And for 16 years, Leo Geoghegan was a top name in Australian motor racing. Leo's entry into racing was a natural family progression. His father, Tom Geoghegan, had been a prominent driver.
So, Leo, what do you remember of this car?
Well, it was a nice car to drive, and we were so unlucky. One brake pad delaminated. The brake we should have got through on brakes, but just one pad failed, and we had to make a pit stop and change the pad. So that was the end of the day. But it was a shame, because it was a very sweet motor car. Back then, 60 cars used to go to Bathurst, and there's 59 bad luck stories, and one lot of those come happy.
One race win that eluded the brothers during the 60s was the Bathurst 500, an event that attracted top drivers in standard production cars for 130 laps of the testing Mount Panorama circuit. For 1969, the Geoghegans were in a Falcon GT. Pete drove first and had pole position on the grid.
Holden Monero, and as they jump, Pete gets a good start, but Cook a little bit more slowly away with Mackay on their outside, and coming through appears to be Sava, going very...
He made a good start, which was just as well, for only the front runners were to clear the first lap holocaust that was soon to come up on the mountain.
Colin Bond in there in the Monero, fighting and bustling, trying to find his way up into the field. Tremendous gaggle of cars as they go up Mountain Straight, 60 of them in all, to start 130 laps on what will no doubt be an incident-packed race. Every year this race seems to produce its excitement, and then as they come down off the top of the mountain, Bill Brown's in tremendous trouble. He's right upside down, over he goes again, and it comes to press on through, and he's bringing the whole field to a halt. Tremendous trouble and traffic here, and John French apparently in an Alpha rolling too. Two cars upside down, traffic held up everywhere, numbers of cars damaged, cars still hitting each other, Bill Brown still in the car actually, John French, at least Bill Stanley backing his car up and letting Bartlett's Alpha through, but still the track almost completely blocked, and cars running into each other seemingly for minutes as they came up over the top of the mountain and started to run down to the bottom. Still traffic blocked. Some 2 minutes almost after the initial accident. Bill Brown out of the car now. John French, after having been hit about 4 times, has finally come to rest and got himself out of the Alpha, and now the field is starting to sort its way through. And as they come down the mountain for the second time, they work their way past the wreckage. A tremendous incident, and one completely unexpected, even in the excitement and the sort of mishaps and incidents that we do have in the Hardy Ferodo races. Into the pits comes Pete Geoghegan. Now in trouble, and again the Geoghegans can see their 500 chances sliding from their grasp. Previous years, other reasons of mechanical problems have got them into trouble, but this occasion it's tyre trouble. Pete's come in with a tyre absolutely torn from the rim. Minor things like generator troubles, and on this occasion they've worn the tyre completely through and had to drive back to the pits on the rim alone. But they're back out onto the circuit, still in the race, but well and truly out of contention, where it's now Colin Bond that's running away with the race, having set himself up for just this sort of incident to happen. Geoghegan's running around, but now a long way down, and it's Colin Bond in the Monero, who takes the checkered flag after almost 7 hours of running. A very fine victory for Colin and for his team manager, Harry Firth.
We were invited by the Japanese Automobile Federation to enter the 1969 JAF Grand Prix. The offer was extremely attractive, and so we decided to have a go. We entered both our cars to be driven by Kevin Bartlett and Max Stewart, took our 3 mechanics, Glenn Abbey, Bob Grange and Ian Gordon. Merv Wackett and his wife came along to keep an eye on his engine in our Formula 2 car. In fact, our party was almost enough to take advantage of a group booking, so we invited the other Australian contestants to join us. Leo Geoghegan and Glyn Scott made up the numbers. We flew by Philippine Airlines, who gave us a comfortable and enjoyable trip both ways. Leo Geoghegan brought his mechanic and a spare engine. As events turned out, he could have left his spare engine behind and brought his wife instead, but he was not to know this beforehand. Leo Geoghegan's ready smile and a friendly approach quickly made him popular with the local press. This fellow must have been with a ballet company. Stand by. Flags down. Away they go. Gary Cooper lost it on the next bend, and now Castrol in front, followed by Max Stewart, Bartlett and Geoghegan. On the 16th lap, Geoghegan overtook Stewart and from then on led all the way. Stewart tried to keep up with him at first, until we signalled him to ease off. There was no point in letting Max stay up with Geoghegan. Even a good 1600 can't beat a good 2.5 litre. In the closing laps, Geoghegan maintained his lead and Rowley Levis had now fitted nicely into second slot. Glyn Scott seemed to fade a little in the last few laps and was overtaken by Cato in the Formula 2 Colt. It was a much longer race than we'd been used to, with 40 laps totalling 150 miles, taking nearly an hour and 20 minutes. The last seconds are ticking by. Here he comes. And the flagman goes out to wave the winner in. Down on the trackside, we wait for Leo to come in after his well-deserved win. Geoghegan comes in after winning the 1969 Japanese Grand Prix in record time, followed here by Cato in the Formula 2 Colt and Max Stewart having done a good job despite his troubles. Geoghegan set a new lap record of 1 minute 52.69, an average of 119.7 miles per hour. On the rostrum, Geoghegan is top of the pile, with second placeman Rowley Levis on his left and third placeman Sohei Cato on his right.
Early battle stuff, people were amazed to see early battle stuff before fences.
Ian stood down for the 1970 Hardy Ferodo, and Leo elected to drive solo in a pacer.
He has had every attempt made to prevent a mishap such as the one we saw in the previous year. As far as the Geoghegans are concerned, Pete is not running this year and Leo's running a potential class-winning car, a two-barrel Valiant Pacer running in Class C with relief driver Nick Lettinger. But as the flag falls on a 2-2 grid this year, it's Alan Moffat who jumps away very quickly and well from pole position, running again, of course, in the GTHO Falcon. Further back in the field, the Pacer's starting to come through, and Chivers and Geoghegan prominent. Down through the S's, proliferation of the V8 GTHOs, some 19 of them entered for the race, many Tirana XU1s as well. Leo Geoghegan cleanly and quickly through the S's. Down at Forest Elbow, cars hard onto the brakes as they wash off quite a lot of speed, and Leo is easy and quick and efficient as ever, but primarily easy on the car as he always tries to be in these long distance races, through Hill Corner, and certainly he nurses the cars along.
I think that Leo is probably the safest driver of racing in Australia today. He is never on his limit, and I think any driver who can run with the front runners and not be fully extended, you don't have to worry about him.
A bit of trouble, but some fall out. And then Leo again, whipping it quickly and tidily down through the Essex. But this year it's Alan Moffat that wins for Ford. A very nice drive on his own.
Elation and the winner's laurels for Alan Moffat. And for Leo, another year in which he didn't win Australia's best-known saloon car race. But fifth outright was an achievement of merit, and the company of GTX girls did help make up for any sense of disappointment. 1970 also saw Leo return to saloon car racing in series production events. He led the Pacer team in this race at Warwick Farm.
Now, where I started in a saloon car. I haven't ridden one for many years, and now I'm back there. It's not particularly difficult to step back out of the Lotus into a slower car such as a saloon, and it does give me lots of driving miles, which is very good because it's quite easy to get a little stale if you don't drive often enough. I've probably done more miles in 1970 than I have in any other 3 years.
Coming back onto the track but losing. And the rolling start at Oran Park for the final of the Tony Lee series. On pole position was Leo Geoghegan. Geoghegan still leads as they go into CC corner. Storming through the entrance now. Geoghegan and Morris. This is a fantastic duel. For 60 laps, these two cars have been nose to tail. Geoghegan still just slightly ahead in car 17, the big Pacer, and right on his tail, going through is Bob Morris. For a while we've had Des West up there with them too, but Des West has dropped down. There's Morris going up on the outside again at BP, but he just can't quite do it. Geoghegan still holds him out. A tremendous race this one. Geoghegan in the Pacer. It's Bob Morris in the through the traffic and down into the S's. And there they are, passing the big V8 Ford too as they slide.
While series racing was an important part of Leo's program for 1970, the major project was to try to win the Gold Star. Charged with preparing the new 2-litre Australian Waggot engine was Leo's chief mechanic, Ian Annalzak.
At the moment it is very reliable. This has accumulated over the 12 months that we've been developing the car and the engine. Previously, when we first installed the engine, we had some lubrication problems, but we altered the oiling system in a few places. It's proved most reliable. And in the early days, we used to pull the car down every 200 miles for like an inspection and crack test, and now we run the car for a period of 600 miles.
Malala, South Australia.
I think everyone's nervous before a race. It's very, very difficult not to be. I still am. The race meeting, particularly a major race, is a culmination of many days, possibly weeks, of the building up of tension, possibly a great deal of work, a great deal of testing, some problems, some frustrations. And the last few minutes before a race are quite difficult to put up with. It's very nice to actually get down in the car and strap up and get out on the grid because you know you're about to do something.
The second place at Simmons Plains did not finish at Lake Road. Second place also at Oran Park. First at the Warwick Farm Gordon Trophy. The fourth place for John Harvey at Sandown. Leo Geoghegan is the one that everybody's watching. Other contenders, of course, Bobby Stewart just recently purchased the Alec Mildren car. Geoghegan in the Castrol Lotus up there just waiting on the grid and ready to get underway. And Max Stewart, John McCormick has put in fastest practice time to the surprise of many of the old heads. The cars on the grid now, tension mounting as this the final Gold Star series, the Gold Star race 1970, and everything hinges on it. Any one of the three drivers will win it. Harvey, Stewart, or away they go through and a good start by John McCormick who lands the lead as the Alpha takes it down very nicely. Geoghegan closing up on him as they run down through Castrol, out in the S's now, and up to Woodruff's corner, and it's Geoghegan who's now in the lead as they go through. Geoghegan going very nicely, has played the waiting game, and now is going to go through, and it looks at this stage.
After 16 years waiting, one race is almost an anticlimax. Leo needed to finish first to take the Gold Star. For Leo, it had been a long road, and he travelled it with dignity, and now reached the ultimate success.
Now is the lead. Car 4 is Leo Geoghegan, who prepares this car and the one being driven by Tony Gregg. Yes, it's good to see Leo back and enjoying his racing again after such a long break. One of Australia's truly great open wheeler stars. Many years ago, retired, said he wasn't going to come back. Didn't take too much to coax him back into production touring racing. And he's done very, very well indeed.
Full marks to Sutherland Mitsubishi for backing the team, and they've been at absolutely every race meeting they could have been at this year. It's a big program for Leo and Tony.
I just didn't